All right, perfect. So I will remember to turn on closed captioning now, and we will start letting everyone in.
Coming.
Try to leave.
It's totally audio when you.
Everyone's just saying hi. So
All right, good afternoon or evening, everyone. Welcome to our final session of the Future MDs in STEM National Summer Program. We are incredibly excited to have you all here with us today. So just a couple of brief things before we start our first segment. So make sure that you've entered our giveaway. Our giveaway is on Instagram. Make sure you're finishing up your homework, and I'll actually send out all of the links you'll need for your homework in the chat, just to make sure you're eligible for your certificate. So I've sent that right now. You can go ahead and save that if you'd like. take a screenshot of it, copy and paste it, save it in a separate doc. That's everything you're going to need. And just make sure to keep yourself muted unless you're asking our guest speaker a question, and we will go ahead and get started. So our guest speaker today is Nurse Mayura, and we're going to go ahead and let her take it away. She'll be speaking for about 25 or 30 minutes.
Hi, everyone. I'm very excited to be on here. I'm super excited to talk to you guys today. So my name is Mayura. I am a pediatric nurse practitioner, and today I'm going to be talking a little bit more about my journey and how I became a nurse and how I ended up becoming a pediatric NP. So if you guys have any questions or anything, feel free to stop me along the way. So when I went to college, I started off as a pre-med student. And to be honest, I just feel like when I was in high school, I never really got taught anything about all the healthcare careers that are out there. So going into college, I just knew I wanted to do healthcare, and I assumed that I wanted to be a doctor, but I didn't really realize all the options that I had. So once I started shadowing, doctors in the clinics and things like that when I went to college, I quickly recognized that I wanted to be a nurse. And so in my second year of college, I quickly changed and decided to become a pre-nursing student. And by my second half of college, I guess, or second year of college, I applied to nursing school, and I got into nursing school, and I graduated with my bachelor's degree in nursing in 2017. So it's been a little bit over 4 years since I graduated nursing school. And when I started my career, I started out as a neonatal ICU nurse. So I'm gonna talk a little bit more in detail about what I did as a neonatal ICU nurse, just so that you guys have a better understanding of what you do. But I worked there for I worked there for a little bit over 3 years, and then I switched over and started working as a school nurse for about a year after that. And meanwhile, while I was doing all that, I was also getting my master's degree in nursing, because my end goal was to be a pediatric nurse practitioner. And so I recently graduated with my master's degree in nursing, literally in May. So I'm fresh out of school too. And I haven't started working as a pediatric NP yet, but I hope to very soon. I'll be taking my board exam in August for that. So, if you're wondering what exactly does a nurse do, because I honestly did not know for the longest time. I mean, I knew nurses work in the hospital and things like that, but I didn't know exactly what nurses did. So as a nurse, in the hospital, we do a lot of different things, and I'm probably barely touching the surface of the different tasks that we do as a nurse. So some of the most important things that we do: we administer medications, we perform head to toe assessments on the patient. And I think a lot of people don't realize that nurses are actually doing a lot, and we have to have a lot of knowledge in order to tell the physicians and the providers what is going on with the patient, because nurses are the ones that are actually at the bedside taking care of the patient for 12 hours a day. And a lot of times the doctors are seeing like 30 or 40 patients on different floors, and so they don't really know what's happening minute to minute with the patient. And so it's very important for nurses to assess their patient frequently and be able to recognize when something's going wrong with their patient. We, of course, check their vital signs, which is like their heart rate, blood pressure, temperature, those types of things. And we need to be able to kind of analyze those as well, because like I said, we're the front line, and we need to be able to recognize when something's going wrong with our patient so that we can let the doctors know, since they're not there the whole time. And, we also help with things called activities of daily living for the patient. So things like bathing the patient, helping the patient eat, or dressing them, because a lot of times if they're not able to get out of bed and they're, stuck in their bed, or maybe they're on medications that make them dizzy, we have to be the ones to help them out. Of course, we do have CNAs too who help us with a lot of those things, but nurses definitely do a lot of that. If it's a patient that's taking certain medications that might make them, have too much fluid in their body, we have to also check their intake, like how much food they're taking or how much fluid they're drinking, and also their output, like how much urine is coming out of, every day, and kind of calculating that out. We also do calculate medication dosages, and we calculate what the IV fluid rates have to be. So we do a lot of math as well. And people don't, realize that we have to do a lot of those things. We do perform a lot of tasks like inserting IVs, inserting catheters. We put IVs in their arterial, we put them in the veins and the arteries as well. So we have to be able to manage those, put those in, take those out. We put feeding tubes in our patients who are maybe, have some type of respiratory support where they can't eat themselves. So we put feeding tubes. We manage their oxygen and things like that. So if they're on like a cannula for oxygen, or some of them are intubated because they're having severe breathing issues. So we help to manage those things in collaboration with like the respiratory therapists. And then, another big thing that we do is work in big teams. So when we're working in the hospital, we have to collaborate with a lot of different people. So, we work with doctors, nurse practitioners, the dietitians, social workers, the speech therapists, occupational therapists, physical therapists. I mean, every patient in in the hospital is going to have a team of like 15 people working to make sure that they are getting better and that they're discharged from the hospital in a timely manner. So as a nurse, we need to be able to recognize what the different roles of all these people are and see if it could help our patient. And so a lot of times we're working with all these different people, calling them, making sure that they're coming to check on the patient and do their part in, helping on their side of things. And then we also make sure to document every task that we do for the patient. So we have to like put everything in the medical record, because we have to make sure that, if a doctor or somebody else is reading up on the patient, they know exactly what's happening with the patient on a hour-to-hour basis. So we also make sure to document everything in the computer on the medical record. And then, of course, we're communicating with family members and updating them. It's a little bit different, obviously, working with adults versus kids. I was working with babies, so of course, I definitely had to be in good communication with parents. So that's kind of like the generic, brief summary of like what a nurse in general kind of does, but it's going to be different for every floor in the hospital and, every area of nursing. So what I did as a nurse was I worked in the neonatal ICU. Going into nursing school, I seriously did not even know what the NICU was. Like I said, I feel like now with social media and stuff, there's a lot of information out there, but when I was in high school and stuff, there wasn't a ton of information. So I really didn't know a lot of these things. I actually found out why I wanted to do NICU was because I was working as a CNA, which is a certified nursing assistant. You can get a certification for that. I was working as a CNA in the hospital, and one day they sent me to the NICU, and I saw these nurses taking care of these babies, and I was just so in awe of what they were doing, and I absolutely loved it. So from that moment, I knew that that was the place I wanted to work as an RN. So basically, if you don't know what a NICU is, it's basically like an ICU, but for premature babies and newborn babies that are having complications during delivery, or if they're born with some type of chronic illness or congenital heart defect, they're going to send them over to the NICU. So what are the different tasks that you do as a nurse in the NICU? The NICU is a very, very specialized place, and it's very, very different than every floor in the hospital. But just to kind of summarize it, we generally take care of babies that are born too early, of course. And premature babies, there's a lot to them because we have to make sure that they're growing and developing like they would if they were still inside their mom's, in their mom's belly. And so we have to literally simulate this environment like they're still inside the womb. So we put them inside like this little, we call it an isolette, but I'm sure you've seen it on TV and stuff. It's like an incubator type of thing. And it literally helps to regulate their temperature. So we're making sure that their temperature is good. A lot of these premature babies, they don't know how to drink milk from a bottle like a regular baby would. Because they're born too early and their brain hasn't developed for them to be able to eat like a normal baby. So a lot of times we put feeding tubes in them. And so we give them their formula or milk through the feeding tube. And as they get to a certain age and weight and things like that, they're allowed to start like actually drinking from a bottle. So up to a certain point, they're actually not even allowed to attempt to drink from a bottle. But when they get to a certain point, we start to teach them how to drink from a bottle. And we work with speech therapists in order to do that. We of course give them medications as well. We put IVs in these little babies too. We manage their respiratory support because, again, if they're premature, their lungs aren't developed. A lot of times they're getting extra oxygen just because they can't breathe on their own like a normal baby would. And we give them medications. We also, again, checking their vital signs like their heart rate, blood pressure, monitoring that. We also check their like intake and output. So we are writing down how much milk they're drinking and how much they're peeing out. Does anyone have a question? I know people are chatting in here, but I don't know. I thought I heard somebody, so I wasn't sure.
I can read you some questions from the chat if that works.
Oh, yes. Okay. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. I'm trying to scroll back up to our first question. So someone asks, from high school, can you go straight into nursing school, or do you have to go into a four-year college first?
So I was going to talk about this a little bit later, but if you want to go to nursing school, there is two paths. You can go through the community college route where you get your associate's degree in nursing, or you can do prerequisites and things like that, and then you can apply in that four-year university. So you would go straight to, if you're planning to go to a four-year university, you would go straight to that four-year university and you just start taking pre-nursing prerequisite classes. And then while you're in college there doing those prerequisites, then you apply to nursing school.
Awesome. Sounds great. And then the next question was, what can you major in to be a nurse?
So, so actually, if you go to a four-year university, they have a degree in nursing. So I actually got my bachelor's degree in nursing. But if there's also options where like you can do a four-year degree in whatever you want, and then you can apply for like a second degree in nursing.
Perfect. And someone else asks, do you think it's possible to do a study abroad program while studying to be a nurse?
I think it might be possible. You may have to do it before you actually start nursing school. It may depend on the college, but from what I have seen, they haven't really offered any like study abroad with nursing school. So it might be something you do beforehand.
Someone else asks, do nurses have more of a connection with patients than doctors?
So and I wouldn't say it's like more or less, like I don't want to compare it in that way because both are doing totally different roles. But as a nurse, you're definitely like actually working with the patient 24/7 while you're there, because you're literally the one going in and out of the room. You're actually like doing these hands-on tasks with the patient. The providers are mostly, coming in, getting updates from us, and then deciding the plan of care for the patient. So it's a little bit different, both of the roles.
Sounds good. And then someone else asks, what reason made you switch from pre-med to nursing?
So for me, I think just seeing how much nurses were actually getting that hands-on, hands-on tasks and hands-on kind of stuff, that really attracted me. I knew I wanted to be a provider because at the end of the day, now I'm a nurse practitioner, and so I'm in a totally different role like than I was as a nurse. But just getting to see that I could actually go through this path of becoming a nurse and like getting this hands-on experience and being with the patient and actually working with families and things like that, and then just kind of transitioning into the provider role, that was what really attracted me. And in nursing school, they really teach us all about holistic care and really thinking about all the different aspects of the patient, not just, treating them and diagnosing them, but actually getting to know their support system, their, economic status, their religion, and kind of taking all those factors in order to treat them. That was something that really stuck out to me.
Someone asks if the NICU is physically draining, like walking around a lot and standing. Is it also mentally draining to deal with parents and when you're dealing with the sick infants?
I think it was one of the best places to work. Of course, there was a lot of sad days. You would have sad days where you had babies that were really, really sick, but I think 90% of the time to 95% of the time, those babies would end up leaving the NICU and they would be healthy when they left. And working with families is like the best thing. Parents are so nice. I mean, it's been like rare where you deal with a parent that's really mean or anything like that. That's why I continued on, and I still want to work with parents, and that's why I'm working, as a pediatric NP now. But I loved working in the NICU. There's the best part about the NICU is the variety of patients you get, because you'll have like really sick and challenging babies that you get to take care of, but you also have babies that are like about to go home, and so you're just kind of like feeding them, holding them, changing their diaper, giving them a bath. So it's kind of like therapeutic a little bit to just kind of hold babies all day. So I loved working in the NICU.
Someone else asks if you did any research.
Oh, sorry, could you repeat that? I didn't hear you.
Yeah, no worries. Someone else asks if you did any research.
Yeah, well, I actually, when I was, before I got into nursing school, I did work as like a research assistant. I was working with, it was actually autistic kids, and we were doing behavioral therapy with them. So it was totally different than it kind of applies now to what I'm doing as a pediatric NP. So I kind of understand what the ABA therapy is and all of that. But I did do some of that research before I did nursing school.
Someone else asks if you would be able to talk about travel nursing as a NICU nurse.
Yeah, so I personally never traveled. It's something that I would have liked to have done if I wasn't a nurse practitioner, but travel nursing is really great. It's really, really popular right now. You can definitely travel as a NICU nurse. Pretty much with travel nursing, you get like different contracts to go to different hospitals across the country that need nurses for that hospital. Usually the pay is really, really good compared to if you were employed just by the hospital. And it's a great opportunity to travel around the country and work for different hospitals and get to know different people. So if that's something that interests you, I strongly recommend it. It's something that a lot of people are doing right now.
Someone else asks that, so they wanted to know if pre-med was more difficult than nursing.
So it's two different courses. So I'm not going to say one was necessarily more difficult than the other. I mean, both, you do have to take challenging classes. So yeah, I wouldn't say one was like necessarily harder than the other. A lot of the stuff is kind of similar for prerequisites. Like I still had to take chemistry, I still had to take, some of those science classes and then statistics and things like that. So, and you have to take anatomy and physiology, pathophysiology for nursing. So it's still equally challenging.
What is something you wish you knew before becoming a nurse or a nurse practitioner?
That's a good question. I think a lot of people don't talk about how much hard work it really is to be a nurse. And I want to be realistic about it. I don't want to sugarcoat how much of a hardworking job being a nurse is. You're working 12-hour days. It can be pretty tiring. But I think it's just important to be aware of that going into it, and just making sure you choose to work in a area that you absolutely love when it comes to being a nurse. Because if you choose to work in a floor that you're like, I don't really know if I like this place, or I really don't like it here, but I'm just taking this job just to have a job, it will burn you out quickly. So with nursing, you really do have to be passionate about it and love it, just because it is a hardworking job.
Someone else wanted to know what the difference is between being an NP and a nurse.
Sorry, you were cutting out. Could you say that again?
What's the difference between becoming an NP and a nurse?
Yes. So an RN, like I said, with all those tasks that I said earlier, that's kind of what a nurse does. A nurse practitioner is a little bit more like a doctor, in that you're a provider. You see your own patients, you diagnose the patient, you prescribe them the medication, you come up with a plan of care. So it's definitely more, we call it a provider role. So it's kind of like a physician assistant, and what kind of more of what a doctor does. The only thing is that as a nurse practitioner, you can't open your own clinic or practice completely on your own. You still have to be working with a doctor in order to practice.
Are NP subspecialties more flexible?
So with NP, it's a little bit different. It's not like when you go to nursing school, it's like you go to school and then you can work anywhere you want. With NP, you kind of have to choose what specialty you want to go into. So like I had to go to school to be a pediatric nurse practitioner, and that's all I can work in is pediatric NP. So I'm going to be certified as a nurse practitioner to be only for pediatrics. But if you want like flexibility to work in any specialty, any population, family nurse practitioner is the one that you should do, because with family nurse practitioner, you can work with any person of any age, any range. It's more geared to like working in outpatient settings, but they still hire family nurse practitioners in the hospital as well. So that's something to kind of think about.
What is the difference between becoming a physician's assistant and a nurse practitioner?
Honestly, it's just taking two different approaches to doing essentially the same job. You have this pretty much the same scope of practice. The only thing is I can't speak on PA because I'm not a PA, but with NP, it's you get to work as a nurse while you're in NP school. So that provides a lot of benefits, because you're getting real hands-on clinical experience. You're really taking care of patients. And then you also get the opportunity to get your tuition partially paid for, because a lot of hospitals will pay for you to get your master's degree in nursing and become an NP. And then also you're working and getting a good salary, so you're not necessarily having to take out loans and have a lot of debt or anything like that. So those are the benefits of kind of going the nursing NP route.
Someone else asks if you'd be able to walk us through the path of becoming a nurse practitioner.
Yes. So basically, to become a nurse practitioner, you will need to have your bachelor's degree in nursing. So again, if you do go to a community college and get your associate's degree in nursing, you'll have to go back and get your bachelor's degree in nursing. And then once you have your BSN, now typically they want you to have at least 1 year of nursing experience before you start NP school. I didn't start NP school till I had a year of experience. And again, it depends on what type of NP school you're going to. If you're going to do something more like an acute care NP, which would be working in like ICU settings and things like that, I would definitely wait longer before you go back to school. But if you're going to be doing something more like primary care, which is what I did, which is like working in a general pediatrician's office and things like that, it's not as high acuity as we call it. You can wait that 1 year, or you could start right away. There's schools that don't require you to wait a whole year. And then, so you'll go get your BSN, and then you will apply, and then you'll go get your MSN, which is your Master of Science in Nursing. They typically want like a 3.0 GPA, nursing GPA. And then, like I said, they may want 1 or 2 years of nursing experience before you apply to the program.
Sounds good. Someone else asks what your day looks like in general, and if you spend equal amounts of your time in the clinic and the ER.
So if you're speaking about an NP role, so as a pediatric NP, I would be in the clinic, and so it's kind of, for me, it's more like you're going to your pediatrician's office. We do like well visits, checking kids like for their annual physicals, doing sports physicals for kids, giving their immunizations, kind of checking what vaccines they need that year. And then of course, coming in for sick visits if kids have like strep, flu, the usual stuff, ear infections. We see a lot of those types of things, rashes. That's kind of what the nurse practitioner role would do.
Someone else asks if you could work as an RN for a year or two, and then during those years decide if you want to pursue becoming an NP.
Yeah, for sure. There's people I had classmates who worked as an RN for like 15 years and then went back to NP school. So you can go back to NP school whenever you want. If you want to take 1 or 2 years off, work as a nurse, and then go decide if you want to do that, that's perfectly good.
Someone else asks, which do you think is the most rewarding, becoming an MD, an RN, and NP, in terms of lifestyle, debt, and salary?
So it just depends on what your goals are, what you want. Obviously, I'm going to have a bias towards NP and nursing. So I can only speak on that. I would say, just in comparison to like going to med school, A, you're not in school as long. B, you're not going to have a ton of loans and debt. And, if you're planning to kind of, like for me, I wanted to do general pediatrics and be a provider in general pediatrics. So I didn't think it was worth it for me to go to med school for 4 years, do 3 years of residency, have a ton of debt to become a pediatrician, general pediatrician. For me, this was perfect because I got done with school. And I'm already done with all my schooling. I don't have any debt. I don't have any loans or anything like that. And now I get to just work as a pediatric NP. I don't have to do any type of residency or anything.
Someone else asks if you would say that there's a good work-life balance between nursing and your personal life.
Yes, definitely. Even if while you're working as an RN, if you're working in the hospital, the one great thing about working as a nurse is you work 3 days a week. And it's 12-hour shifts, but you work 3 days a week, you have 4 days off. So that's always nice because you get 4 whole days to do whatever you want. But even as an NP now, like if you want, you can work in the hospital and you could work like the 12-hour shifts, or you can work in the clinic and you can work a regular Monday to Friday, 8 to 4 type of schedule, which is great.
I think those are all the questions we have for now.
Okay, perfect. You guys had really, really good questions. If you guys have any other questions that you want to ask me, you want to reach out to me, you can follow my Instagram. It's at PNP Mayura. And I post a lot about like nursing tips and all about nursing on there. And then you can also email me. It's nursemayura@gmail.com. I haven't changed my email. I changed my username, but feel free to reach out to me. I'd be happy to help you and share any knowledge that I have about nursing or help you make the decision to choose nursing.
Absolutely. And we'll also be linking your Instagram in our thank you form. So our students will be filling out some thank yous to you. And then as soon as they fill that out, we'll be sending that over to you. Your Instagram will also be sent out in our follow-up announcements and our follow-up emails as well. So if anyone has anything they want to reach out to you for, they will be sure to do that on your Instagram or your email.
Okay, perfect. Thank you guys so much.
Awesome. Thank you for taking the time to come and speak to us. It was wonderful to hear about your journey becoming a nurse and a nurse practitioner. All right, everyone. So with that, we are now going to be taking our group picture. Again, we will be linking Nurse Mayura's social media as well as her email and any of her contact information. So if you have any follow-up questions for her that you didn't get to ask today, you'll be able to ask it to her then. But for right now, if you would be comfortable turning on your camera so we can take a group picture, that would be wonderful. And you only have to have it on for like the 30-ish seconds that we'll be taking a picture. So I'll give everyone a minute to kind of roll out of bed and, go to your table or something so you can turn your camera on, and we will get started in a couple minutes. I'm sorry. I'm seeing so many people like fix their hair. Honestly, good for you. We love to see it. And I'll give you guys maybe like 30-ish seconds. I'm not sure. And of course, if you don't feel comfortable turning your camera on, there's absolutely no pressure to do that. This is just so we can, take a picture of all of you here in the same place for a national program, and then we'll be sending it out too. So if you're not comfortable turning on your camera on, there's no pressure to do so. All right, so I'll give you guys maybe like 20-ish seconds and then we will get started. All right, I'll take two because there are actually so many of you with your camera on that it's on two separate Zoom pages. So just keep smiling for like 10, 15 seconds, okay? Is everyone good? All right, getting some head nods. All right, I'll give you guys a countdown. 3, 2, 1. Okay, keep smiling because I'm gonna take two more. So 3, 2, 1. And then one more. I'm so happy that you all have your cameras on. Okay, so 3, 2, 1. Okay, perfect. So if you're not comfortable keeping your camera on, of course, there's no pressure to do that. You can turn your cameras off now. So there were a lot of you with your cameras on, so we had to take a couple, which is awesome. It's a great problem to have. So with that, we will be concluding Nurse Mayura's segment and our group picture. We'll be sending out this group picture in our follow-up emails as well. If you want to keep this or just save it as a memo of your summer program time here, you are more than welcome to do that. So now we'll kind of be discussing our next steps here at Medicine Powered now that the national summer program is officially done. Of course, we do have office hours tomorrow for the research symposium, and then the research symposium itself is on Friday. So for those of you participating in that, we'll be seeing you all again. But for right now, we'll kind of just go over what's next here and how the summer program kind of came to life. And of course, if you have any questions, please feel free to put them in the chat. I'll try to check that every couple slides so I don't miss your question or anything. Just a quick reminder. So, oh, I think someone already has a question. Alyssa?
So the research symposium is required, or?
No, the research symposium isn't required for your program certificate.
Okay. How do I make sure that I did all my homework assignments? I think I did, but
if you send me a message and just say, hey, can I double check with you if I've completed all the homework assignments? If you send me that message, then I'll check for you and let you know if you're missing one or two.
okay. Thank you so much.
Yeah, no problem. So I sent out all of the homework assignments at the beginning of the meeting. If you don't have them, don't worry. It's all in our Slack. It was also in the follow-up email that I sent out last night. So just make sure you finish up these 5 Google Forms and then you'll be all set for the whole program. So what's next here at MedStem Powered? So first I kind of wanted to take you guys through the teams that we have here. So happy belated birthday to us. Our first birthday was July 7th, 2021, because we were founded in on July 7th of 2020. And we didn't really have time to celebrate it because we were right in the middle of the summer program. So we wanted to make sure that we were focusing more on the summer program and less on our birthday, but we are officially a year old. So I'm not going to read through this whole list because there's a lot to break down here so much that our font is pretty small. So this is just everything that we've been able to accomplish in the last year. Again, these slides are going to be posted for you all. So if there's something you missed, don't worry about taking notes or anything unless there's some additional information you'd like to write down. This will all be there so you can read this at your own pace. So our leadership team here consists of about 20 of us, and the 20 of us have worked together to kind of make this summer program a reality. So you've met some of the people in these pictures. I cannot see all of them right now, but you've met Ahmad. He helped present a workshop. Nikita and Trisha were helping with our medical debate. They're the ones that created the debate pamphlet. Rebecca is the one who coordinated our partnership with Med School Coach, and that's why we were able to host the webinar. Miriam and Chatney were the ones who did our marketing and outreach, and they worked with students to help us reach some international schools. There are some additional members like Jalen and Alex who helped coordinate our research symposium this year. So it was a really big team effort. We also host departments. So I mentioned that we have some co-directors that do research and content, and these are the departments that they work with. So we currently offer 7 or 8 departments. Our mentorship program is our unofficial department because it involves about 100 mentors and mentees, and it's not a traditional one, but we have more to come. So these are some of the things that we've been working on as a department in the past year. You can also view this in the, kind of big list of all of the stuff that we've done this past year. But these are all of the things that we've been able to do. We've been able to coordinate outreach to professors. Students in these departments have been able to attend STEM shadowing and PhD shadowing webinars. They've been able to work collaboratively on research posters, work on lesson plans, and then some future plans that we have are kind of expanding towards middle school and high school curriculum. And our content department, so they've been working on lesson plans. So if you notice any of our CPR workshops, I work with them to kind of make those workshops possible, and they work together with the members in their department for the debate and lessons on anatomy and physiology, etc. And our mentorship program, which was founded last year on the same day that our organization started, catered to about 100 mentors and mentees globally last year. And although it doesn't run for the summer period, we will be opening up applications soon. So if you are interested in becoming a mentor here, or if you would like to get mentored in something, don't worry, we have someone here who would love to help you out. And if you've seen any of our beautiful posts on Instagram, you can thank our social media and graphic design departments because they're the ones who have been orchestrating our raffle post, our first post about the summer program, which got a lot of engagement, and any future posts that we have. We also have events and fundraising. So Vivian, who's our events director, will be releasing the giveaway prizes soon. So just be sure to just make sure that you've entered the giveaway on Instagram so that you can, be in the running to get some of our prizes, because if you're all here for the summer program, then you're all eligible to get that. So these are just some screen caps because of course we can't take physical pictures in person because we run virtually of some of the things that we've been able to do. So these are some meetings that we've had with members to onboard them to our departments. The top left picture is for our research department and the bottom right one is for our social media and graphic design department. So there are tons of ways to get involved here. And this might possibly be one of our most notable events besides the summer program, both this year and last year. So we were able to host Gitanjali Rao, who was the Times Kids Choice of the Year in 2020 in November. And if you're interested in watching that event, we do have it recorded. So you can just send us the message and let us know if you'd be interested in watching that. But we really can't speak highly enough of her. She's a wonderful student and innovator, and we can't wait to see what she does. So here are some of the upcoming projects we have, and this is not a holistic list of everything that we want to accomplish in the next year because we have been up to a lot within this past year and there are more things that we are hoping to add. But we are trying to implement a middle and high school program, medical training programs, research posters, resource packs, which Meher will be sending out to you all. We've already created a couple for you based on what you've been asking in our advice column. So whenever you all ask questions in our advice columns, and if we notice that there are a lot of you that are asking about a certain topic or asking about, the admissions process to a certain school or about a certain topic in STEM or medicine, that is kind of what tailors our content to in our resource packs. So if we have a lot of kids asking about, for example, applying to Harvard, then that's what we'll make a resource pack on. So if you ever have a question, be sure to send us a message or ask an advice column because a lot of you have been responding to each other's messages, which is wonderful because everyone's getting advice from one another, which is great. We're also going to continue doing outreach to international schools, fundraisers, which Vivian can elaborate on, content creation, course creation, partnerships. These are some pretty general things. So our mentorship program currently catered to about 100 students in 2020. And these are some of the mentorship topics that we offered. So we offered computer science, anatomy, physics, calc, pre-calc, pre-med, algebra 2, biochem, college apps, stats, and we're going to be adding more mentorship channels this year. We're also making some small changes to our mentorship program too. So if you would like to get interested, these are some of the categories we have here. And also, if you're interested in becoming a member, you probably should have taken at least one of these classes in high school. But if you're interested in getting mentored in a topic of your choice here, you don't necessarily have to be in the class in high school right now. If you're just interested about, I don't know, maybe bio or stats, or maybe you're a freshman or a sophomore, but you want to get a head start on your college apps, which is of course totally fine. You don't really have to be taking the class or be writing your college applications to get mentored. I always think it's a great thing to kind of get a head start on some steps or, just get involved with some things that you're personally interested in. So if you would just like to get mentored in some of these subjects without actually taking the class, that's totally possible as well. So I'll stop and see if I have any questions. Someone asked, where does this go on college applications? That's a perfect question, which we have some slides for in a couple minutes. So I will get to that soon. Someone else, I think, asks, what do the mentors do and how old are the mentors? So mentors are responsible for, in any of the topics that we have here, first being knowledgeable about them. And then really what they do is up to their mentees. So if they have 5 mentees that are taking, let's say they're mentoring in computer science and they have 5 kids who are in AP computer science, then you'd be responsible for scheduling some meetings with them, making sure that they're staying on top of their homework, that they understand the concepts, that they feel prepared for their exams, that they're learning about what they want to learn about, etc. And so we don't have any hard deadlines for that per topic because it depends on what your mentees need. It's going to be different for everyone. And typically our mentors are either a sophomore above in high school if we have maybe some lower topics like algebra 2, but for some of our topics like, AP calculus or physics C or college apps, our mentors are usually at least not college seniors, high school seniors. And explaining more about the mentorship program and how you can sign up for this. So at the conclusion of the summer program, all the departments you have seen listed. We actually have a really cool opportunity coming up that will allow you to express your creativity and also get involved here. So more to come on that, as well as the mentorship program. You will get your next steps on how to actually get involved with all of this stuff here after we've emailed out your certificates. We first want to make sure that everyone that's participated in the summer program has everything they need. They've gotten their certificates. The research symposium has gone well, and we've ironed everything out. We want to make sure that there's no concerns or questions or comments. And as soon as that's done and everyone is, kind of on the same page with wrapping up the summer program officially, once we send everything out, then we will be releasing some next steps for how to get involved with this. We just wanted to make sure that you kind of knew about this briefly now. So when we announce that you can get involved with this via, filling out this form or messaging us or filling out this application, it wouldn't be the first time that you were hearing about it. So we wanted to make sure that, we gave you, we just wanted to make sure we gave you some background on it. And when is the mentor application released? So it will be released in August. And if you have any questions, you can message Elijah. He's our mentorship director, and he's the one who's running all of the day-to-day operations on the mentorship program. And are the mentor program positions paid or volunteer? They're volunteer programs. Oh, thank you for answering that, Jada. And is there a role for mentoring incoming high school students? Yes. So that's another position that we'll be adding in this year. So Elijah will also be providing more information on that. But essentially, there's nothing for you to worry about right now about, I don't know how to get involved, or I don't know if there's a form I should be filling out. Am I behind? Don't worry, we haven't released anything yet. These are just the ideas that you're going to be seeing in the upcoming week. All right, so now about your program certificates. So this was our program certificate template from last year, and you can see that we have a certificate of completion with excellence, etc. The program certificates this year are going to look different because our organization name is no longer Future MDs in STEM, it's MedSTEM Powered, and the color scheme will be different, and overall it will just look different. But this is just an example of what we were able to give out last year. And some other notable differences are that we'll be providing our email on the certificate. So if you use this for any sort of application and they want to reach out to us to be like, hey, did they do this program? What was it about? We will be able to let them know what it was about. It'll include our new name, which is MedSTEM Powered 501c3, and it also include our IRS number in case they have any questions about our nonprofit status. And it will also include your shadowing hours. So that's something that we didn't offer last year that you'll be seeing this year. All right, so another big segment, and I'll make sure I don't have any questions. Someone else asks, can I please be eligible for certificate and shadowing hours after I fill out the session forms? Of course, yeah. So we sent out all of the forms at the beginning of today's session because we knew that there were a lot of kids who were eligible for the program certificate, but maybe you just forgot to fill it out. So you can fill out all the forms now and still be good to go. Yeah, no problem. So another big section of using this program, because of course, while it is a 2-week experience and we want you to make sure that you're learning throughout these 2 weeks and that you are making the most of this opportunity, we want to see you all kind of use this program to help get your foot in the door for future opportunities, to show employers, colleges, any business partners, etc., that you've used your summer to kind of take this opportunity to learn and to invest yourself in medicine and STEM. So hopefully these LinkedIn tips will kind of help you get your foot in the door for some of these opportunities. Okay, so first off, what is LinkedIn? Because I know that not everyone here has it. And this is kind of as brief as we could keep it because it can be a little bit of an overwhelming platform, but essentially it's like a business Instagram where it allows you to network with people. Instead of following people, you send connection requests, and there's no such thing as like following people back. You just hit a button and you get connected with them there. So it allows you to kind of showcase your work experiences. If you have any awards, it lets you, create posts. It allows you to find opportunities, follow some organizations, etc. And if you use this website, you can create an account there. They really should only ask you for your email. And then, if you look at the screen cap here, you can see that you can add your profile picture, your name, and then a little blurb. So for most of you, that blurb will be something like student at XYZ high school, or student at XYZ college, or class of 2024 at the University of whatever. And then you can maybe add, if you have any positions such as, president of this club or vice president or secretary or avid learner or enthusiast about STEM. And for all of you here, you can add national participant at the Future MDs in STEM summer program, which is a little bit of a mouthful, but it's a great way, if this is your first time doing anything with LinkedIn, that's a great way to, kind of add something to your bio and meet some connections there. So this is what your LinkedIn feed will look like. If you have LinkedIn, you've seen this a bunch of times before. It'll have your profile picture here, your name. So here it'll say student at this high school, etc. It'll have all the companies that you're following, any groups you're part of, and if you've connected with kids, so let's say you send a connection request to someone that's also in the summer program, you can see, some posts that they've liked, some business posts here. If they share a post, you can see it on your timeline. So again, it is a lot like a business Instagram and kind of like a business Twitter all combined into one platform for you to be able to only talk about, again, business and not really any personal stuff. But yeah, this is kind of how it works. And if you ever have any questions about getting started on LinkedIn, you can always send us a message. And, if you have a question about, I don't know how to set up my email, or I don't know how to add anything into my bio or my about section, you can just send us a quick message and we will be sure to get back to you as soon as we can. All right. So now about adding this experience, so your participation in our summer program this year, to your personal LinkedIn, because we want to see you all maximize this opportunity. So if you click on your personal profile, there are a bunch of sections about me, my experience, etc., skills, whatever, and then you can scroll down to the bottom and then it'll say experience, and there's a little plus button here. So once you hit this plus button, it'll bring you right over here to the screen, and we've actually auto-filled it for you. So if you want to go ahead and copy and paste it, you are more than welcome to do that. So it says international here. You are all national participants. So the title of, your experience would be National Future MDs in STEM 2021 participant. Employment type is an internship. It's part-time. The company is MedSTEM powered. If you type in MedSTEM powered, our logo should come up. If it doesn't come up, let me know. It should be showing up for everyone. And we are based in Greater Boston, Massachusetts. It should not say currently working this role because the internship took place from June 2021 to July 2021. June is when all of you applied, so that's what we're considering the start date, because it doesn't allow you to say I started July 5th and I ended July 20th, and it just doesn't let you do that for some reason. But this is an example of what you can kind of fill in. So this is the description that you can add in for the experience. So if someone sends you a connection request and they're interested in, talking to you about your experience here, or if an employer is reading over your LinkedIn and they see that you've done the summer program, but they don't actually know what this is about, then that's why you would add a description here. And again, you can copy and paste this. We have this here for your benefit. We had a lot of students last year pretty much just copy and paste it, and that's totally okay because we provided the same resources and the same opportunities and hopefully the same experience to everyone. So you can just copy and paste it. It just says, as a selected participant, I got to learn from medical doctors, participate in hands-on workshops, talk to people. If you want to add your research symposium experience there too, you totally can. And then in the media section right here, you can feel free to upload a PDF of your program certificate, participation award, project submissions, awards, etc. So something that we didn't offer last year, but we will be offering this year, are general member participation awards. So for all of you here in this meeting, regardless of whether or not you're doing the summer program, we will be giving out a few participation awards for just some students that kind of stood out to us while we were running our Zoom meetings, or just anything like that in general. So you don't have to worry about filling out an application or anything. Everyone here will be automatically considered for an award. And we're not entirely sure how many we'll be giving out, but that's just something we wanted to let everyone know about. So I'm gonna go over some questions here. Where's the place to copy and paste? So once we share out these slides, which we will be uploading in the folder directly after today's session, you can copy it, paste it there. It'll be in the comments section of, or like the, the speaker notes section of the actual slideshow. And yep, you can find those in the drive. And can you explain, can you replace hands-on with virtual? Yep, you totally can. So if you participated in our CPR workshop, if you remember that was our first day of the program, which feels like so long ago, but also feels like yesterday. If you grabbed a pillow or an American Girl doll, or you practice the compressions there, that would be hands-on. But
any other
okay, if you have a question, just be sure to either raise your hand or send it in the chat, and I will hopefully get to it as soon as I can. But if you did that, then you can say hands-on. But if you were watching it here, then you can replace it with virtual. It really is up to you. And of course, you can change anything that we have there. You don't have to copy and paste it completely. If you want to word it differently, that's totally fine. All right, so now I will move on. And then you can also add this. These are just some different places we can add it. So you can add it under licenses and certifications because you've got a program certificate. We have it filled here. Credential URL, you can just link our website. You can add volunteer experience if you filled out the post-program feedback form, as well as if you filled out our thank you forms for the guest speakers. So you can say that your role was in student feedback, and you can list our organization and then just list the start date. You can also add a description if you'd like. You can also take a skill quiz, or you can add some skills. So some relevant ones that we thought would apply to everyone here because you've all done the summer program are STEM, medicine, collaboration, leadership, innovation. If you've done the research symposium, then research. There are a bunch more. You can just click on this add new skill here, add it to your profile, and then if anyone from the summer program connects with you, they might be able to say, okay, hey, I can see in their header that they've done the Future MDs in STEM summer program. Let me endorse them for STEM and medicine because I know that they spent their summer doing what I did. And there's another way for you to add this as well. You can add this to your accomplishments because you received a program certificate. If you get any participation awards, any research symposium awards, you can add that under accomplishments as well. You can add it under the organization MedStem Powered, or you can add it under honor and award here. So there are a bunch of different ways for you to kind of use this to get your LinkedIn jump started, or use it to build on what you already have. You can also post about this on LinkedIn. So if you go to your home page, I'm just using my personal LinkedIn as an example to show you all so it doesn't get super confusing because there are a lot of different facets to LinkedIn. But if you go to your homepage and you click on start a post here, this is where it's going to bring you. I just auto-filled this in with, how to blast during the Future MDs in STEM summer program. Huge shout out to MedStem Powered for making this experience awesome. Check out my program certificate below. Once you post that, everyone you're connected with will be able to see it. They can comment and go, it was nice to see you during the summer program. If you tag us, if you use the @ symbol and you tag MedStem Powered, we will be sure to repost you. And once we repost you, hopefully that's a way for you to meet some new connections as well, because everyone that's following us will be able to see your post and know that you did the summer program. And on the left is actually a sample post, not a sample post, but a real post that a student made during the program last year. So they posted their program certificate, they talked about what the program was, they learned so much, etc. And they can't wait to, learn about STEM and medicine and hopefully get into those fields. And once you post that, we will reshare your post too. Will we be able to access these slides? I'm just reading a question right now. Yes, it will be in the shared Google folder under session resources. And now for recommendations on LinkedIn. So if you would like to request a recommendation from one of us here, you can scroll down to our personal profile and then hit this button that says ask for a recommendation and just say, hey, I did the summer program. I was in the national cohort. Would you be able to write me a recommendation? Thanks. And once we get that, we'll know, okay, they did the summer program, we'll write you a recommendation. If you would also like to write a recommendation for us, you can hit this pencil button here, but of course that isn't required. This is just another way for you to kind of show this experience more and show that you collaborated with people and actually worked on the program this summer. So in terms of adding this experience to your college apps, jobs, resumes, kind of anything in general, you can add this experience under your extracurriculars. The duration of the program would be a month, so you might want to add this closer to maybe the middle of your college apps extracurriculars list. You can add it under the awards category because you are all receiving a participation award if you do the research symposium, and you're all receiving a program certificate if you're eligible for it. You can also upload your certificate to your Common App, I believe. I'm not entirely sure about the Coalition application. And the best way to kind of use the certificate to get your foot in the door is to just talk about it in your interviews, post about it on LinkedIn, use it to get an interview in the first place. Talk about how you during the pandemic, spent your summer learning about STEM and medicine, and you interacted with people and talk about the skills that you might gain from this program that might help you out in the future. So on your resume, you can also add it as, an experience, internship. I don't think you can link a certificate on your resume, but you can say that you received one. So if you need us to write you a letter, so let's say you need a volunteer letter certifying that you volunteered with us, or a letter of recommendation if you're applying to a summer internship, or you're applying to a job where you need us to sign off on some volunteer hours, we would be more than happy to help you all out. Just make sure you email everything to info@medstempower.org. Again, we are really more than happy to help you out. Just say, hey, I was in the summer program. This is what I'm applying to. Give us about 2 to 3 weeks notice because we might be getting a lot of these at the same time. So we want to make sure that we write you as good a letter as we possibly can. And we will be sure to, get that back to you. You can also give us a description of what the program is. So when we're writing your letter, we know exactly, what we're talking about to give you the best chance of getting that position in. We have written letters of recommendation for students in the past who have eventually matriculated on to their internships that they applied to. So please use this opportunity to kind of let us help you out in getting your foot in the door for some opportunities. I will open the chat now to see if there are any questions. So someone asks if we will receive the certificate via email. Yes, we will be emailing out a program certificate that will have your name on it. So we're not sending out a generic one to everyone. So you'll receive that via the email that you use to register for the program. If you don't have access to that anymore, send us a message and we will change your email and make sure we don't send it to the wrong one. All right, and now the most important part of the program is that from us to you, we would just like to say thank you. So here are some pictures of our Zoom sessions. This is a picture of our international kids this morning. And we just really, really want to reiterate that this program would absolutely not have been possible without all of you choosing to come and spend your summer with us here. We are incredibly grateful that we received so many applications this year because we were expecting to kind of receive the same amount of applications we did last year, and we received so many more. We really do hope that you've all enjoyed your experience here and that you've learned about the fields of medicine and STEM, met a friend or two. We are incredibly proud of you all. We have said this before, but I wanted to say it again. So I know that some of you are still in school and you did this program on your lunch break, or sometimes I would see kids in the airport because they had a flight, but they still wanted to attend the session. So we are really, really proud of you all for, spending your summer here, dedicating yourself to learning all of this information. And we are very inspired by your work ethic because we know that the future of medicine and STEM is in good hands because you are all going into that. So we do want to make sure that we let you know that this program would absolutely, again, not have been possible without you. We hope you've all had a wonderful experience and that you come back, you get involved with us. But if this is our last time seeing you, then we hope that you have enjoyed your experience, that you've learned something, that you felt like the world and the fields of medicine and STEM aren't as overwhelming or maybe aren't as challenging because you're all working on it together. I hope you all have a really good support system. And if you don't, reach out to us and we'll be your support system. And if you want to keep in touch and let us know how life is going, or, if you've applied to something because of the summer program or even not because of it, and, you took the step of making LinkedIn or applying to a job or an internship that you wouldn't have gotten and maybe before, and you got an interview or something, just let us know because we want to celebrate all that stuff with you. So with that kind of wraps up our program and our session today. So again, we really have had the best time with you all over these past couple weeks. I know that it has probably been a little bit overwhelming. I hope we've responded to your feedback as well as we could. We do appreciate all of you taking the time to make sure that you let us know how things are going. And if things aren't working, you also let us know, which we really do appreciate. So hopefully you felt like we listened to what you had to say and hopefully implemented it back. But we really did have a wonderful time with all of you here. We'll be following up with you all soon. But again, if this is our last time seeing you, we wish you all the very, very best. I'm just making sure I don't have any questions. But if you do have to head out now, you are more than welcome to head out. If we'll see you again for office hours tomorrow, then we'll see you then. We'll see you on Friday for the research symposium. And we will hopefully see you back. Have a wonderful rest of your summer if we don't get to, see you again. And we hope that this experience was as enjoyable for you as it was for us. Anna, did you have a question?
Oh yeah. Firstly, thank you so much for the program. I really enjoyed it and also learned a lot from this. I'm thinking better like all the homework can be sent in an email because I wasn't able to copy the chat for the form. So not sure if you would like to send an email of the homework just to make sure that I didn't lost anything.
Yeah, absolutely. So in our follow-up email tonight or tomorrow, I'm not entirely sure when we're sending it, we'll make sure that we link all of the homework that you'll need.
Thank you very much. And is there a deadline for the homework?
We are setting the deadline to this Friday at 9 o'clock in the morning, but if you're really swamped with your research symposium and you're swamped with other things, I know everyone has external commitments too, just send us a quick message and say, hey, I can't get this done, then can you, give us a
Got it. Yeah, thank you very much. Yeah.
Awesome, no problem. Happy to help. I'll just go down the line here. Miriam?
Hey, Davina. Okay, so my question is, I don't think I wasn't able to attend, I think like session 3, and I know that one of the requirements for receiving the certificate was attending 85% of the sessions. So if I, for example, missed session 3, but I do watch the research symposium session, for example, am I given a chance to make up for the lost session, or is the session 3 that I missed like done and final? So what's the situation of that?
Oh yeah. Okay, so you're actually allowed to miss like one of the sessions between 1 and 6. You don't have to attend the research symposium if you are not interested in hearing student research, although I definitely would recommend it. And session 4.5 also wasn't mandatory, so you're all good.
Oh, nice. Okay, one more question. I know you mentioned that there were opportunities for volunteer hours. Could you once again just run through what were the opportunities, if that's okay?
Yeah, absolutely. So if you provide us with feedback for the summer program, you fill out the thank you forms for the guest speaker, you get volunteer hours for that, as well as the program form. You can also get volunteer hours. So basically, if you join us and you work on anything here, literally anything at all, that also counts for volunteer hours. And the volunteer hours you earn here are also make you eligible for the Presidential Volunteer Service Award. So if you would like more information on that, you can contact Maher. So those hours will put you in a good standing for that. You can get involved with our mentorship program. If you're getting mentored, that doesn't count as volunteer hours, but if you are a mentor, then you will receive volunteer hours for that. If you work in any of our departments or you help us out on a project, like research, content, outreach, social media, graphic design, that all counts for volunteer hours as well. And of course, we'll be providing you with more information as soon as the program concludes.
Wonderful. Okay, one last quick thing. In order to receive those volunteer hours, is there a form I fill out, or do I specifically, like myself, do I have to write a letter and then get one of like you, for example, to sign off on it? How exactly does that work?
Yep, the second thing that you mentioned. So if you have a volunteer sheet where you keep track of everything, and you also keep track of it for like your school commitments, then you can send that to us and we'll sign our section of it.
Wonderful. Okay, great. Thank you so much, Davina, for everything you've done. I truly enjoyed the program. I watched the sessions on the bus ride home, and honestly, it was a great way to end the day. I loved it. Thank you so much for everything.
Awesome. I'm so glad to hear that. Yay, I'm fun. That's fun. Not fun. Anyways, so yay, awesome. I'll take a question from the chat now. If you do the feedback forms, do you get over 10 hours, or does that differ from the shadowing? It differs from the shadowing. So volunteer and shadowing are different. And how will you receive the shadowing hours? So on your program certificate, it's going to say certificate of completion with excellence and X amount of virtual shadowing hours. So that's how you will see it on your program certificate. So you can use that certificate to show doctors or hospitals that you've done shadowing with us, and you can also use it to show them that you completed the program. So it's a dual certificate. You'll receive it via email within 2 to 3 weeks after the conclusion of the program, which is officially this Friday, but unofficially today. And yes, of course, you can still complete the thank you forms. Nothing is really due today except, just like being here, which you all have already done. So Harneet, did you have a question?
Yeah, thank you so much for these sessions. They were great. For the research symposium, sorry, I can't pronounce it. The sessions is Friday at 9, but I have a class at that time, but I'm pretty sure my group we're doing a video. So do I have to come, or?
If you're presenting a video, then you're all set. Just send us in your message to us to say we're sending in a video, so it's okay for the order.
Okay, thank you.
Yep, no problem. And make sure this is just for everyone, make sure you fill out the research symposium submission form so we can send out our speaking lists. So based on how long the presentations are and what you'll be presenting on, well, actually, no, not what you'll be presenting on, but how many members are in your group, that's how we will be able to make our list. So on Thursday by 5:00 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, after you've received all of your submissions on Thursday at noon, we have extended the deadline by 24 hours. By that time, we're just going to be sending out a Google Doc list. It's going to be an ordered list of who's going to be presenting starting right at 9:30 after our guest speaker. And Dia, did you have a question?
Hi, yes. First, I would just like to say thank you so much. This was so much fun. So I wanted to ask, can we still fill out the homework assignments?
Yeah, absolutely. You can still fill out the homework assignments. So I know that it might have been a little overwhelming. It definitely was. So the deadline for them is unofficially, but kind of officially this Friday at 9:00 in the morning when our research symposium starts. So if you can have it done, again, the sooner you all fill it out, the sooner we'll be able to give you your program certificates. So just if you could fill it out by Friday, that would be good.
Okay, awesome. Sounds great. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem at all. Annika, I know you've had your hand up for a while.
I was wondering, like, what exactly is happening on Friday? Because I'm not doing a research symposium, but I was like wondering, like, what's going on.
Yeah, so essentially we're going to have a guest speaker who has officially done research in the STEM and medical fields, and they have either published it or they're in the process of publishing it. Right at 9, they're going to be presenting about, their research. And then right after they're done with their research, we're going to have a list of students who submitted their projects to us, and they're going to be presenting their projects. So the virus we created this year, the fictitious one, TI 2050, everyone was tasked with the responsibility of kind of mitigating one of its effects or addressing one of the symptoms. There are a bunch of different ways that you can do that. So kids will be presenting on it. So let's say group 1 did a public health solution, and their solution was to, I don't know, wear masks, which of course would not be a viable solution because we already did that for COVID, unless you're kind of reinventing that and doing something different. But let's say they just present for 8 to 10 minutes on the how masks work and why masks will be a good option, how other countries can afford this, will everyone listen, etc. So that would be a public health measure. And then let's say the second group does like an engineering perspective. So you'll be hearing from a lot of different groups that have taken a lot of different approaches to solving this fake virus.
Okay, thank you. And I was also wondering when you guys are doing the awards.
Yeah, so since we extended the deadline, we're no longer able to give you all the awards at the end of the symposium because we don't think 7 hours is enough for all of us to go through your projects and really make sure that multiple people are grading them and making sure that we do a good job of marking them. So our estimated time to get you all the awards, including the speaking awards, is next Monday. We'll spend the weekend grading everything.
Okay, thank you for the program. It was a really great program.
Awesome. Super glad to hear that. Sounds good. I'm just going to go back to the chat for 1 second, and then I will go back up to anyone that has their hand. Will there be a Q&A during the research symposium? Yes. And if you would also be interested in us giving you feedback, we can give you feedback live, or we can give it to you asynchronously. If we give it to you live, you'll be able to get it right on the dot. Asynchronous feedback will take quite a big chunk of time to give to you, but if that's what you prefer, that's also totally fine, because asynchronous feedback is something you can also look back on. So it's great to have that too. Both are pretty viable. So there is a Q&A session. You can maybe ask the group some questions if we have time. Each group can probably have time for 1 to 2 questions from the audience. So if anyone in the audience is like, hey, we did public health too, kind of liked how you took that approach instead of how we did our approach. Do you think that's actually going to work in the future? Would you be interested in implementing it with ours, etc.? And so you can ask the student presenters your questions, but we won't have time for you to ask the research speaker any questions, unfortunately, but you can have their contact information after the program. So if you have any questions for them, you can ask them too. Someone else says that they've been to all the sessions except 4.5. Yep. And you're all set. There are no complications with your eligibility. Would you be able to use volunteer hours towards high school? Yep, of course, you can use that. Someone else asks, I don't know if you already have a schedule of who's going to present, but I want to know if I already made a research, if I have possibility to share it with you on Wednesday. Yeah, you can share it as soon as it's done. You don't have to send it on Thursday at 12 p.m. EDT because it's due on Thursday at 12 p.m. EDT. So that might be cutting it really, really close. So you can share it as soon as it's done and as soon as you feel like it's ready. What email can you send the volunteer form to? info@medstempower.org. How can we be more active here? Also a great question. Stay active for right now for our research symposium when we're sending out the certificates. And when that's all done, we'll be following up with you all on next steps if you'd like to get involved here. Okay, I'm going to take some hands up questions now. Jasmine?
Hi, thank you so much for this call. It was really informative. And I have two questions. So can I still fill out the thank you forms, or was there a deadline?
Yep, you can of course still fill them out because we also had a guest speaker today too, so it'd be silly of us to make the deadline be set for today when we had a guest speaker today.
Okay, sounds good. And I was also wondering, what specifically do you have to do if you did the research? If our group sent in the video, do we have to do anything else, fill out a form?
Yep, you just have to fill out the form, and if you have a slideshow that's accompanying your video, you should also link that slideshow too. So if you're presenting an asynchronous video, you send us the video and you also send us the slideshow or whatever it is you're working on.
So is there one per group, or is it just everyone in the group that does it?
One per group. And in the form, it'll say, what are all the members of your group and their program type. So in a submission we received today, it just said there were 10 members in that group. They were all international and had their names. And so we know that they were all working on the project together. So everyone will get credit.
Okay, thank you so much.
Yeah, no problem. Sounds good. Neha?
Hi, so my question was, I know you said that we could contact you if we wanted to make sure that we had all our assignments turned in. So what would be the most efficient way to contact you? Not just about homework, but even if we have other questions in the future, would it be through Slack or email?
You can honestly do either. It really depends on what works for you. So I am super active on Slack and also on davina@medstempower.org. So really it depends on what works for you because we'll be using Slack past the summer program. So we'll always be active here doing all of our work here. So if you would be interested in getting involved, you have the leg up because we have been using Slack for the summer program. So you're all at least a little bit familiar with that platform now. So if you want to send me an email or if you want to send me a message or a DM on Slack, whichever works for you works for me.
Okay, and I actually had a second question. You spoke about mentoring students. Did you say the youngest mentor would be someone a sophomore in high school? Is that the youngest age there is?
For the topics that we had there, computer science and calculus and stuff, that would be the youngest age we consider. But we're also going to be opening some other programs, which we can't talk about yet because we haven't released the information. But for those programs, high school kids starting from their freshman year of high school are eligible.
Okay, thank you so much. Also, thank you for this program. It was really, really great. I had a lot of fun doing it. Thank you.
Glad to hear that you had lots of fun. Woohoo. Yeah, no problem. So next question is Samshrita. Apologies if I am mispronouncing your name.
No, you got it correctly. First of all, thank you for the amazing program. I was able to learn a lot. I had a concern on, I think it was session 3 on a Friday. I joined the one with the debate, the day with the debate activity. I joined for the first 15 minutes, but then my internet went out and I wasn't able to reconnect. I tried to fill out the homework form, but by the time I checked the Google Drive and everything, the video wasn't uploaded and stuff. So would that count against my shadowing hours, the 10 hours? Because I attended every other session and did the other homeworks.
Yeah, you should be fine. Also, session 3 is on our YouTube. So if you want to check that out, it should be there. And hopefully the homework form works now, but you're all good if that's the only session you missed.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, no problem. And again, apologies if I'm mispronouncing your name, Sajid.
Hi, yeah, you said it right. So my question is for session 3.5, I think the shadowing hours, I kind of missed that. So is there any way I can still get those hours? I know they were optional, but is there any way I can still get that?
Yeah, if you're interested in getting those hours, the video's been posted on our YouTube channel. So that's, you can turn on subtitles there. You can watch it at 2x speed if that's what you do. You can still watch that video and just send me a message once you've watched it because there wasn't any homework for that one.
Okay, thank you. And the program was amazing.
Awesome. We're really, really glad to hear that. We've been looking through some of the post-program feedback you've all been giving us, and it was really encouraging that you all felt like you learned. And we are also really appreciative of all the constructive criticism you've been giving us, because it's going to make our programs better in the future. If any of you are here that have, if anyone's here that attended our program last year, the program last year was definitely a lot different because we didn't have any feedback from anyone because it was our first time running it. So our only goal for you all is to make this program better and better every year. So again, thank you for all the feedback you've been giving us. I'm going to go to the chat now. Which parts of the program are for high school volunteer hours? For the summer program, the thank you form and the post-program feedback form. When is office hours tomorrow? It's at 5 p.m. Oh, someone already answered it. Jada, you're really on your game today. Thank you. Anyone else have any questions? You can also unmute yourself too. You don't have to raise your hand.
Okay, I have a question.
Go ahead.
Okay, so I didn't go to the session 3 because I have a complication that day, but I already see the recording and the and fill the homework form. Is that count for my 10 hours shadowing, or it doesn't? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, it counts. You are all set.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, no problem.
Oh, and this was an amazing experience. I'm from Puerto Rico and I love it. I learned so much, so thank you for this.
Aw, thank you for being here. Glad to hear that it was a good experience. And hopefully we have a channel on Slack. I don't know if you're in it already, for kids from Puerto Rico. So hopefully you've been able to connect with some people there.
Yes, I'm in that channel too. So it was amazing.
Perfect. Awesome. Awesome. What hours count for the PVSA? Sorry, just reading a question in the chat now. Everything you do here after the summer program, besides the, the thank you form and the other form, but anything you do here after that, like getting involved with a department, any work you do here, any mentoring that you do, all of that counts for the PVSA. You just have to keep track of it yourself and send it to Meher, because she's the one who calculates your eligibility. So we can't keep track of that for you because there are too many of you and we don't know the hours that you are working unless you're attending meetings, which we will be able to track. But you keep track of them on a spreadsheet or something. You send that spreadsheet or that Google Doc or that over to us. We'll be able to cross-check it and reference it, and then Meher will add you to our PVSA list. Someone else asks, do we send a video of us speaking during our presentation for our submission and present live? Oh, no. So that's only if you are not interested in presenting live. If you would prefer to present a video, then you would submit that video to us. But if you're presenting live, you just send us your slideshow or your Google Doc or anything, and then we don't need any live presentation from you because we'll be seeing it on Friday. We'll also clarify that in the message, so that way anyone that has any questions know that, yeah, you don't have to like record yourself presenting it and present it live. You can just do it that officially for that one time on Friday.